when you have a self-empowered woman and a conscious lover, you have a person, whether it's situationships, relationships, commitment, you have somebody who knows who they are. Knowing who you are means you love yourself first. You got a 0 1 year old in the forefront, and she's not attached, panicky, or he or they. Okay, so secure attachment people. If people are healing, they move towards that. Moving towards that means that they know how to do emotional awareness, accountability, self regulation, and that same thing goes for thoughts. So, thoughts and emotions, inner growth mindset. Okay, so you will know how it works, for better, for worse, for sickness and health, rich or poor, right? All that great stuff. And it isn't because you have to get married. No, not at all. And some of us, we don't love one person. We love more than one person in a non conventional friendship way. It is not unfaithful to be polyamory. It's called consensual non monogamy, just in case you didn't know that. And it's different than polygamy. And some people don't know that either. And also, we're not people who don't know how to be securely attached. But some people are polyamorous and not securely attached. And so they have primal attachment panic, and then they don't handle it well. But that's why there's people like Jessica Fern, great therapist, and she has a great book. It's called Poly Secure. So there's a lot of great educational material out there for any person who wants to be an emotional grown up. And that's a person who doesn't do unfinished business with their people. Okay, so situationships and relationships, they're in equal mode committed. Why? Because we know how to talk to your face and we know how to tell you how we think and feel. Okay, so here's where it makes me very much humored when I see people who are making fun of situationships as if you need to be in a situationship rehab. Now, these are human beings who are not only monoamory, they're apparently relationship coaches of some sort based on their own experiences, which, I mean, granted, that's what I'm doing too, right? But I'm seeing them humor me. And so I'm sharing with my empowered women, men, and days how humored we are when we see people who don't know how to do situationships. And let's talk about how to do them. But first, like I said, 5D Mystic here. Enlightenment Soul Age Group, I need to specify we don't have laundry here. It's because I have integration of the brain. My default mode network is down regulated. When I see you and you see me, I have no trauma charges. I have no low self esteem. I have none of the I'm a Cusco or Pinocchio. Nope. I'm actively engaging and I'm enjoying company and I'm enjoying time and I'm going to be direct and straightforward and I'm probably going to know instinctively as a mystic if yeah, that's one of those things. This is not negotiable. Oh, I love when people they come around. Okay, we're going to get to storytelling in a minute. So for one, commitment. You can't commit if you don't know who you are. And when you find out that people who have, for example, personality disorders don't know who they are, it's a sad day, but then you find out how to share and who to share so that they can figure it out. Dr. Daniel Fox, he's really great at supporting all of those within the personality disorder spectrum to hear this is how we can help you. And I've noticed his community, they all feel very, wow, thank you so much. You see me. We talked about the felt sense of self. So when somebody feels felt, it's because somebody described the exact way that they are experiencing life. Like for me, I share that subjective experience of an empowered woman, and it's an empowered human being. It's an empowered person from here. So the people who feel life fully and they feel it with compassion and open heart, and they love all 8 billion people and growing, and they're empowered. They have no envy, jealousy, spite. They don't have harboring any of that human suffering. They do emotions, they do thoughts. They will be like, wow, there's finally a person who knows how to live life like I do. I kept on feeling so off. Okay. So that's where when people are being their self in this way, others will come and they'll feel different. They'll be like, well, that's interesting. And this is when I explain you can all be in your restorative embodiment. You can all be in an integrated brain. How far you get depends on you. And that's why I mentioned I'm in the Enlightenment Soul Age group because the different soul age groups that I know of have character traits. I can read them to you. We won't do it here, but I've read them before on the audio version. And there's a website you can ask, email me, and I will send it to you. Okay. So, situationships, you don't mind them. So for me, my stories, I won't share them all the time, but my one story I want to share is this. The month after my teenage boyfriend broke up with me, I was in seventh heaven. I was like, this is the best gift that I ever got. I didn't realize in these years, and I loved the relationship, but I realized that there were better candidates that were out there. And in a month's time, I realized that, and that love isn't going to move anywhere. I love the person the same way today as I did yesterday. What changed and what is different is our bond and the fact that we don't share commonalities, and that I'm discovering that I can share commonalities. So here's the secure base. So when you have a securely attached 0 1 year old, is why whether it's a twin flame, flames, or soulmates, you're not going to think you're actively dying without them. You're not going to be like, my life is so empty because they don't want to be around me. You're not going to feel a pull in this dramatic and decentralized, defocused, de-everything way that you hear people in 4D land, is what I'm going to say. They're people who don't notice the humanity of themselves and how to love themselves first. Because if they did, then they'd be busy with their own life. They wouldn't need to find a mission. But see, that's why we have different communities. Because some people, they don't know how to find out that they can choose what they want to do when they grow up. That's what it sounds like to me. Okay, so this is where an empowered woman, you don't lose yourself. I didn't lose my inner child. So I've known who I have been and am, which is why I don't change. I expand because my verb, sense of self, consistently is doing this. So again, it'll resonate with those who are here. It's those who are not here who are working to be in their inner self completely. Okay, so let me organize this a little bit more. Consciousness is when you have access to integration. So you know your thoughts, you know your feelings, you're able to contain them. If you're not, you work with good therapists. And then as you learn to expand that window of tolerance and to stay grounded, no more clinical dissociation, no out of the body experience. Okay, so once you're able to manage, emotional intelligence grows, mental intelligence grows. Why? Because you're doing introspection and intrapersonal stuff, and you're working with a person who's guiding you to that. It's always going to be the motivation of you to get there. Okay, so that's why it's all about you reclaiming yourself and moving to your authentic self, the inner child of you, attachment, trauma informed I am. Okay, so again, these are people who are still conducting more and more research and more stuff. When you see somebody who's crapping on situationships, basically, situationship rehab, they're a person who, to me, doesn't have, one, a secure attachment with their 0 1 year old. Two, they're most likely a person who is convinced that you can only be monogamous and monoamorous. There has to be one person. So they have not moved beyond the concept of the one in here. It's not about only here, because you move out of concepts from both places, and that's called expanding consciousness, which I've done. So as a teenager, if you had asked me, would you be a person who's polyamory? Probably would have said no, but I would have said I do love all people equally, because that's what I shared with all these people who said you can't, and I said, but I do. And then I figured out, as my 18, 19-year-old, I was like, see, I was right. Okay, so the part about how people see it from the external, well, then you did change. No, that's not how it feels to me. To me, it feels like I was a 16-year-old who wasn't in a world that gave me two options. As I was, and I'm still in a world that makes the dominant option look like what we already know, which I'm not going to voice that I think it needs to or doesn't need to change. No, I'm presenting. In our lovely planet here, we have a monoamory group, and then we have a polyamory group. Monoamory is the majority, and it is the universally accepted societal reality for a number of reasons. And there's a number of human beings, academics and not, philosophers and not, religious and not, who support it. I am indifferent. It's personal. It's a personal choice. It makes me humor to beyond the bejesus of me that there's human beings who are allowing societies to tell them if they're going to be monoamory or polyamory. I'm just laughing right now because, see, that's my point. I'm like, okay, sure, let society tell you how to love. You're not going to tell me how to love. One, I love always. Thank you, Stephen Porges, because my body's in secure attachment. I'm always in ventral vagal. It's a oxytocin gene hormone. You see laughing. I'm always smiling because I love life. I love my body. I love everything. You can't. No, sure, I can't. So again, situationship. When you are a person who feels blessed and just beyond a shadow of a doubt lucky, you're not ever going to look and say something crappy happened because I have some emotion called sadness going on. Because, by the way, anger isn't some bullshit either. But anger is an emotion that a empowered woman will learn how to harness. Because you know what we like? There's one thing that a piece of consciousness, and that's a person who has a heart body, value body. I was a 16-year-old who knew what I wanted to do already when I grew up. At first it was law, then it got to politics, okay? So I looked into all of it. I knew exactly how it was supposed to be. In fact, I wasn't going to get any of this, my tattoos. Oh yeah, there's still a thing that I might maybe know. I probably won't, but I had this love for piercings, and I said I can't get it. I can't have any marks if I want to join politics or be a lawyer or any of that, if I have marks. And so this is how far I would think about what I'm choosing for my career as a person who's serious about life. People say, oh, that's so rigid or whatever. Really? So you chose out of the ass of you what you were going to do? Oh, wait, I'm so sorry. You're conforming. I forgot about that. Okay, so people who are not their self, this is the difference. I know my name. Ask me who I am. uh, Ask my mother, but I have to interview her at a certain point so she can show you the face of a 3-year-old who would say, I'm Maria, as they make fun of me, my entire family, but in a good way. And to this day, I still don't know how I appear, but I do know that people know that I'm unwavering. And that's why it's okay to say she's a stubborn bitch. And that's, I'm pretty sure, what some people said as I got to get older and I did not give in to their love dependent whining. And this is not men, because yes, there's no way that any of actually, yeah, what happens when you have somebody who's at least semi decently honest with themselves is they tell you you're intimidating, and you're like, what? Yes, because wait a minute, and then you're like, okay, hold on. Now that I know about attachment stuff, okay, now I'm picking it up. Got it. So when you meet Patrick Dehan, he's a childhood trauma survivor. He's healed. I always say healing. And he is a therapist, and he supports people who want to do the emotional stuff. And he shares with them, remember, there's cowards. The cowardice people, they don't do the emotional lifting, and they don't get their poor inner child back online and home. And it's not offline, but basically they don't heal and support themselves. So I'm with you, Patrick. We're going to get more inner children back alive and in the house of the homes of the people. So when you care about yourself and you care about people, you say, you can do it because I know you can, because attachment trauma information is out there, not these stories of yoga bringing demons out of you or somebody telling you there's demonic possession, because it's not true. There's a neuroscientist who proves it, and he's going to continue to prove it. And if you want to be a flat earther, go shoo shoo. We're not flat earthers here. We're just woo woo people. Sometimes stupid, but still know who people tell us how people work and how we can help them. Okay, so when people don't want to help people, they dehumanize them. And what I was trying to get to was a story, but now it slipped my mind as I got distracted by the people who want to say that human beings don't have a heart. When they do, they just don't know that they can reclaim it, as I was trying to. So I'm lucky because I definitely have that path to enlightenment with bliss and wisdom. And I'm meaning this. So I know how lucky I am. And intuitively, since I was a kid, I knew this. And since I was a kid, though, I also knew I had a good gut. Don't treat me like a piece of shit. You're not in, you're out. Okay? So the teenage boyfriend, he wasn't a piece of shit at all. No, good person. All people, though, to me, have goodness, because no one is inherently good or evil. So a person who doesn't understand how to be an emotional, mental, and physical grown up, how dare they say this? Okay, so I dare say this because of all smart people letting me know about the same truth, which is if you have integration of the brain, then you're going to be consciously available to yourself and to me. If you have non bilateral integration, then you're going to do this. This is going to be stuck somewhere. I'm going to pick it up because I'm a somatic empath, and I'm not going to do anything about it, because whatever you project at me, I've seen it all. I've seen it all. All of the envy, jealousy, spite, revenge, liars. I'm laughing because I found it humorous as a teenager. I'm just saying, making a choice that is unkind is humorous to a person who knows that's not evil. You just did something that makes no sense. It's reactive. You're not, what are you doing? And like I said, it's not funny now because I'm like, wow, they all need good therapy. Oh, please. So the ones who do go, they come on over here. They don't say they have laundry in their body. They're going to say, oh, I want to do more emotional stuff because we can all get to our restorative embodiment. The ones who have laundry in their body, they have the person, Zen master, who can give them the excuse of why they don't have to do anything else. Or really what I should say is not the excuse, because every person's going to be attracted to the content that is resonating with them. Okay, so now I'm back on track. When people meet Dr. Daniel Fox, they can figure out how they're fine and that he can work with them and that they can work with anyone and that they're a human being. And so for me, it's easy to say, this is so amazing. Like with Patrick Tiahan, he helps childhood trauma survivors to know, don't let no person talk to you like you're a piece of shit. You didn't learn how to be talked to the right way. Let me teach you. Come on over here and let's get it together to be with people who are Pacha materials, what I'm going to say, which I totally high five Patrick, Dr. Daniel Fox, all of them. Okay, so any person who treats people like humans, great. Come on over. You're going to enjoy if you want to do emotions and thoughts. And again, relationships, situationships. You commit based on your love for life, based on your love for people, based on your love for humanity, based on if you overflow in humanity. And so for a woman who's a conscious lover, here's what I have to say. One, anyone who has secure attachment will not be desiring anything but human happiness inside and their own inner and outer well-being. And that's because you have a whole inner child, though, and you're in your prefrontal cortex. So you will always say human love, yes, because you can do it like I can, because it's an embodied brain that you have, and that there are people who are working day and night, and they continue to prove that they can help people. Like I can help people, you can help people, and our neighborhood, our networks are important. Thank you, Sadhguru. If you're keen on doing something about human suffering, attend to yourself first and also to people around you. That is the best way to start. You can't be yourself, your authentic self, if you don't have love for yourself. If you don't have a 0-1-year-old that you understand what's happening if you get freaked out and start to do the black and white thinking and you start to blah, 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 your mouth over here. Okay, so integration is what leads to consciousness. When people have non-bilateral integration, they can still be aware by choosing to be self-aware of their thoughts and their emotions and their reactivity, and then to take ownership. Say, wait a minute, did my mood just project out there? Did I just react? Okay, wait, I'm not going to look at myself with shame. I'm going to go and find good information, personal development, self-help, good therapy information, people. Okay, which is why we have a number of great sources for human beings who want to be human beings. If they're human beings who say, you know what, I think I met a covert narcissist, I want to get that person, they're going to go find 10 ways to get underneath the skin of a narcissist. They're going to go find immune to narcissism, people who talk, God's testing you, narcissism. So it depends what you're searching for, and then it depends on your mindset. You can be interested, but if you're using psychoeducation as a weapon, which is what people who are mantles of mental health, mantles of spirituality, mantles of yoga, mantles of humanity, they're basically, I'm a superhero cape going out. Yeah, okay. Yes, you superheroes on Elsa's journey. Some of us, we're saying we're all humans, so we're inspiring human potential. Infinite higher human conscious potential experiences are when you get to come full circle, be home here, and this is why Twin Flame Flames, no saga, no drama. These are people. It's dehumanizing. It's objectifying. I can't even believe what I saw as I saw it, but I knew what I was seeing. Why? Because of 5D Mystic and the Enlightenment Soul Age group. The connection is clear. And yeah, I was aware. In a very beautiful way, but not for this episode. So situationships, relationships, commitment. It's because two people walk in the same direction and they talk in the same direction, okay? And they talk emotions and thoughts, okay? And on that note, we're going to end with a story. And so for teenage boyfriend, I learned all about a lot of things and teenage friends. And I learned I was right about love. It continues to grow. And then I learned how awesome other types of dates and men are. And to this day, awesome when you meet empowered men. So they continue to walk a walk and talk a talk. Then you meet also the ones who think that they know better than you, and you're like, you know what? I'm just going to leave it alone because I knew I was right, but I'm not one of those teenagers who's going to have to say, let me point it out to you. Did you see I was right? So, what you also notice when I move beyond the concept of loving one person, thank you, Twin Flames, as well as moving beyond the concept of the one, thank you again, Twin Flames, because they're a really special treat. And so are soulmates. The soulmates remind you you don't know everything, slappity slap, but not in a way of nobody uses hands. Nobody uses not even 1 inch of hands, no hands. So when I'm doing that, what I mean is what cartoons when they're like, "Come on, wake up," So we'll use hearts. Put always the hearts, the hearts around us. Okay, but there's plenty of different types of cartoons. We got hearts, we got stars. We got, what I think about? There's that, what is it? The bird who's running and the coyote who's chasing them. Okay, but I'm being silly now. What I was trying to get to is as you move beyond these concepts, for a person who has a good relationship with their emotions, because you're a conscious lover, you're consistently expanding knowingly. So it's not traumatizing. Trauma, by the way, there's trauma charges, which are one thing, and we all have those child parts. Then there's fragmentation, which is different. And so I'm not going to lecture too much about it right now, also because I have to go. But what I want to try and organize so you can understand this is the nervous system, because the way Stephen Porges, he's continuing his research, and the nervous system is what will indicate if a person has had a traumatic experience, because there will be a type of rupture and a type of charge, and it's a type of way that you will have gone over your window of tolerance. And so you will know about it, and you will feel as if it is hard for you to overcome. That's when you know, okay, I have trauma that I'm healing from. And anyways, that's also where people will use words that fit their experience, which is why the somatic empaths and the somatic therapists talk about the importance of words. And when you're meeting people who see each other and they're wanting to have that felt sense of self relationship, they're going to, in fact, keep untangling so that their language may meet and they expand from heart and mind together. So whether it's a situationship or relationship, and relationship, romantic, friendship, all, commitment is because two and or more people, we definitely know how to have fun, always. And so when we see the teenagers, what I call those ones who are like, oh my God, situationships, polyamory, yucky, yucky, yucky. Oh, we're like, oh, let them have fun. So here's the part. When there are those people, they're the ones who say, I would have loved to always stay with my teenager, da da da. And, I totally get it because there's a bunch of people that are in that boat. And they have this idea of, that. And I just immediately, when I've heard that, I'm like, no, 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 I'm happy here. And you can see the body because the body's thinking that energy is not matching where I'm at. And it really feels more like those, it's the energy. Because see, that's the part. Consciousness is an energetic expression. So I don't want to choose words right now because I'm going to think of how to formulate it in a better format so that all of us can hear what I could share with you about it from an enlightenment soul age group's perspective. All I can tell you is that there's no way in hell that I would change anything, not even one. The only part of my whole right now that has finally settled in, and even that I wouldn't change now that I know how it's helped me, but the panic attacks is the only thing that the biggest challenge is anything physical for a person who has a good relationship with their emotions. That's why we're conscious lovers, because it's like, oh, bring it on. I love more emotion, more emotion. And that's what happens when you're a restorative embodiment. So join us if you like. Hopefully you do. And like, share, subscribe. We have Ask Maria. It's opinionated columnist type episodes on the audio version podcast for now. Once we get to 1K, it'll be video as well. And I, again, thank you for stopping by. Send curious questions if you want. I love to talk about topics: personal development, self-help, attachment trauma, mysticism, sciences and spirituality, anything I can share. I love to chit chat. So have a great day. Thank you for joining the community and for being here